Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, a former Boeing 737 pilot and a PMDG 737 tech team member. Welcome to another flight featuring the PMDG Boeing 737, and this one is somewhat of a classic for me over here, flying the 2E737 out of Düsseldorf down to Ibiza. Now this is one of those flights that I did a lot in my early time as a flight simmer before I even started flying in the real world, so this is definitely one that I am going to look forward to. Now we are standing here at Düsseldorf. It's just about 5:45 in the morning, which is just about typical time for those flights to depart, departing at 6 when the airport opens. So let's go ahead and start to prepare our Boeing 737. The livery by Atarium and the sounds from FTSIM Plus, and in terms of the sceneries, we are going to use Just Sim Düsseldorf, Ini Builds Ibiza, and finally we are using FS Traffic from Just Flight to give you a complete list of add-ons that we're going to use. Alright, let's board our aircraft and we are going to get right into it. We'll take a seat on the captain's seat for today's flight, and we're going to start powering the aircraft up real quick. And first things first, we do need a little bit of light here. It's that time of the year where we already have a bit of light here in the morning, but where we just about need a couple of lights to get our aircraft into a state where we can actually see something well. Alright, so make sure the parking brake is set down here. We do have external power connected. We can dim the indicator lights and most importantly dim down all our panel lights over here, because otherwise that's just a little bit too bright. So something about in the middle normally gives me a nice brightness setting here, which resembles what the 737 looked like when I flew it. Okay, so we're gonna take that into the middle, and here we go then. Well, so while the aircraft is going to power up, we can already go ahead and start turning on our dome light, please, into bright, and then we can go forward with our safety inspection. Right, that thing works, and then fire detection test. And most importantly, can we silence it? Yes, we can. And do the fire bottles work? Yes, they do. Excellent. Alright then, here we go. On to the overhead panel, turn on the voice recorder. Check the flight recorder is working. Stall system tests should work already. They do take a couple minutes until they work like completely, but you can normally press the buttons and then you just hear the stick shaker come on for a split second, and normally that's really all you need. Okay, so with that basic part of the setup done over here, let's go ahead and request GSX boarding so that we can go ahead and start boarding our passengers. Let's see, temperature at the moment 24 degrees. Yeah, that might just about be a bit too hot. If we look at what we have here in the cabin, you can see it's 26, 27 degrees-ish. A little bit too hot. I am going to start the APU over here so that it's nice and cool for our guests. Also turning on a couple of the lights already. Alright, then let's go ahead and request our flight plan, please. So request data from SimBrief. Now 2EJet9 Whiskey is going to be our call sign. Let's go ahead and check our weather conditions. So departure airport Düsseldorf has fine weather for most likely runway 23 left. Ibiza, well, we already have crew on board, please. Ibiza, nice weather for runway, what's that, 06 over there, and our alternate Mallorca runway 06 as well. Wow, 35 degrees. Lovely. Mallorca in summer, that is. Okay, so weather is pretty much good everywhere. Let's also go ahead and have a look at the en route weather. So that's what our general route of flight looks like. A couple of shortcuts are definitely anticipated. The significant weather chart, let's see, that's the one for 6 UTC, gives us a little bit of turbulence here in the initial part of the flight, then a couple of isolated embedded CBs close to the Swiss and French border, and once we're past that we should have good weather all around. If we have a look at the wind chart, you can see that down here in Throttle 300 we have rather weak winds from the side, and they do get stronger as we get to the higher levels, and they also turn somewhat into a headwind, while we've got somewhat of a tailwind down here in level 340. So if we do go on to the top of the flight plan, we can see that it says planned optimum level, and it's only flight level 330 for today's flight. But if that's what they plan, then that's what the most economic situation is probably going to look like. Okay, with that out of the way, I don't expect any major delays today, so if they want us to take 8.8, we're gonna make it 9,000 kilos, and then we should be good to go. Okay then, let's go down here into... well, let's get rid of that GSX thing, then we also have working click spots, so... let's go. We do need the fuel truck, please, with 9,000 kilos of fuel. Alright. So, that's that stuff. Then let's see. Hectopascal, traffic, airport, terrain, and we already have the VORs selected. Let's go ahead and do the light test. Make sure that all of the bulbs actually work. Kinda interesting. In Airbus world, you never do those. In Boeing world, or at least in Boeing 737 world, you always do this test. I'm not aware that the Airbus has any automatic monitoring if bulbs burn out, but, well, it does give you an ECAM message for anything that's wrong, so there's always that. Okay then, oxygen check, and that is looking good. Nice and stable on the needle. A couple of people asked me recently how I'm looking around like that, so the trick is hold the left mouse button down to keep the button depressed, as you can see right now. Let me just do that on the emergency setting here, making it easier to monitor. And then holding the right mouse button at the same time, I can basically keep this pressed while I'm looking around the flight deck. And now if I let go of the left mouse button, you can see now it stops, but I can still look around. And that's how I can do the oxygen test and simultaneously look at the overhead panel to verify that our system is working as it should. Nice little trick there, but works pretty well. Okay, and the same thing EFA setup we'll do on the FO side as well down here. Here we go. Okay, that is much better. Well, then we can go ahead and start with our system setup. And the APU is available. It's been for a little while. We're going to keep the ground power online though, but APU bleed on, packs on, trim air is on. That cools our cabin down and makes it nice and bearable for our guests. Okay, so the fuel truck has arrived. They can start the refueling, and then we can go ahead and start our setup. Oh boy, I just wish PMDG updated the 737 so that we get the tablet over here. That's really been one of my most requested features ever since the beta. Okay, we are going to take the GPS position, please. And yeah, I do suppose we can do a flight plan request over here. So select the route, please. The call sign, however, is wrong over there. It's going to be 2EJet 9er Whiskey, please. So, Düsseldorf, Ibiza, 2EJet 9 Whiskey is correct. Let's just wait for the route to arrive. Load that in, please. Oh man, that takes time. When you're used to a route, you can enter it manually quicker than the uplink takes with all the uplink delays. But okay, here we go. So, Düsseldorf, 23 left, and we have a modal departure, and it is the modal 1 Tango today. And for the arrival, it's going to be the ILS Zulu, runway 06, and we arrive via Poyenza, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go, Poyenza for Victor arrival. Here we go. We'll take the DMAF transition, and that should be it already. Excellent, then let's have a quick look over our SID, making sure that everything is okay over here. So, departure, SID, and we're looking for the ANAF version, which is a little bit further down. So, Mabel 3 Tango. No, Modal 3 Tango. Always keep confusing those. And that is much too bright for my taste. We'll take it this way. That's easier. Okay, so straight at Delta Lima 243, maximum 210 knots. And we have that, right-hand turn, Uboro, join the 199 inbound to Natex, max 250 knots. And we do have that, and then on towards Modru. And Modru flight level 210 or above. And I do believe there is a note over here that if you're not able to cross Modru above 210, you gotta advise ATC. But shouldn't be a problem for us, so here we go. Okay, that is looking good so far. Well then, let's go ahead with our performance initialization. So, cost index 15. Or is it? Yeah, cost index 15. Reserve fuel, we've got 2.5. Zero fuel weight estimated is 60.8. Cruise level 330 as we said. And for the wind, 276 at 21. Transition altitude 5001. And finally the top of climb temperature, eyesight deviation plus 9. So minus 50 plus 9 minus 41. Alright, here we go. So it is going to be flaps 5, that much I can tell you. And acceleration reduction 1500. No, we want acceleration in 1000, please. Here we go. That's looking better. Okay, ground distance 913 versus 915. I am happy with that. Okay, so finally, fixed page, engine outset is 60 mi from Düsseldorf VOR, so Dus/6, and then on towards Lima Mike Alpha. And we can also enter that at the back of the legs page, so that's gonna be Düsseldorf 232/6, and then Lima Mike Alpha. Hold, enter this, we're gonna make it 232 inbound. Right-hand turns, climbing 3,000 feet. Alright, here we go. I'm just gonna execute this. Not meant to by the SOP, but, well. Okay, so, let's go ahead with the rest of our flight deck then. Yoke and Patron. Nav transfer and display switch is looking good. Fuel pumps coming on. Crossfeed. Working just about fine, and we already have our fueling complete. Then the center pumps can come on as well. So, fast melt on, window heat on, hydraulics on, everything up here is looking good. So, cruising flight level gonna be 330, and the field elevation, I do believe is 0, but let's cheat a little bit. So runway elevation 73. That's always that's always the threshold elevation plus 50. So basically 20 feet. So we can leave it at 0 up here. We do have maintenance available, so we are gonna use the right hand igniters. Flight director switch is on. Runway heading is gonna be something like 232. The same goes for our courses. So here we go, 232, and we'll set it on the other side as well. 232. So initial climb gonna be 5,000 most likely. So let's pre-select 5,001. Let's see if we do have any weather available already. Düsseldorf, 23 degrees, 1025. I sure do hope that they are going to port this new feature from the 777 back into the 737 in regards to the altimeter setting. Because the turning that we have over here is definitely not realistic for a 737. Why do we have flaps 1? Not supposed to have that. Okay, 4 degrees of, or 4 units of trim, brake is set. I don't have any ATC today, so that's that. We can tune Düsseldorf VOR over here, 1515, active on both sides. Guard frequency going into COM 2. COM 1, well, if you want to be 100% realistic, you can of course always go to the charts. And let's see, that's the Mevel, no, the Modru. One Tango, let's go ahead and pin that. And if we then go to the airport chart, of course up here you can find all your frequencies. And that is how you would do it in the real world as well. So 8 is 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. I had that question from a couple of Watson pilots, like they always just look at the pilot client to find out the frequencies, but this is how pilots do it. You just take it right from the chart here. So delivery 1 to 1.78. Like that, and then ground most likely 1 to 1.905. And that's it. Okay, and then tower 18305, that comes later. Don't have to worry about that. The only one thing that we do have to worry about, however, is going to be what our departure frequency is going to be. And we can grab that from down here. So departure chart up here, 1 to 1.355. And a nice little trick that I learned on the time on the 777 beta is that a couple of 777 operators just use the third radio to pre-select the departure frequency. So you can just do 1 to 1.355 in here. Or at least you should be able to. Looks like this one is interesting. That one's in 0.25 steps, not 855. Well, that's not meant to be. Okay. Anyway, you can pre-select it down here, and then you just have it as a reminder. Then you don't need to look at the departure chart while you're taxiing to find your departure frequency. That really makes life quite a bit easier. Wonder why I never knew that. Or rather, why I never thought about that. But well, different operators, different SOPs, and you always learn something great. Okay. So that is basically our setup done. Well, we can tune Lima NDB here, not that we'd really need it, except for the engine out. But hey, why not? Okay, so that's our setup completed. Then, quick look outside, and we can see that they seem to be completed in terms of the cargo loading. Let's see what's going on with our boarding. Boarding completed. Perfect. Okay, in that case, let's bring the generators online. And let's have them prepare the cabin as well. Release ground power? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of TUI, welcome aboard our flight to Ibiza. Flight time today about 2 hours 20 minutes at a cruising altitude of about 10,000 meters or 33,000 feet. Sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our cabin crew. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, einen schönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emmanuel. Im Namen der TUI sind Sie herzlich willkommen an Bord unseres Fluges nach Ibiza. Flugzeit heute 2 Stunden 20 in einer Reiseflughöhe von 10.000 Metern. Wir erwarten einen ruhigen Flug bis auf den anfänglichen Steigflug zur Reiseflughöhe, an dem wir noch einige Turbulenzen erwarten können. Ansonsten einen weitestgehend ruhigen Flug. Wir bedanken uns, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen den Flug mit uns und wenn es etwas gibt, womit wir Ihnen den schöner gestalten können, zögern Sie nicht, sich an unsere charmante Kabinenbesatzung zu wenden. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Okay, that's the passengers dealt with. Let's go ahead and do the briefing. So, threats for the departure? I don't really have any, to be honest. No. Okay, then let's do a route check. Echo Delta Delta Lima to Lima Echo India Bravo. Tango unit from India Niner Whiskey. And that is all confirmed. Okay, so for the routing, runway 23 left and Modru 1 Tango departure, Zulu 283 Sopak. Direct Rusi, direct Grand Canton, direct Pogol. And we have those 3. Then Lazat, Morok, Gilia, Geneva, Incos. And we have Lazat, Morok, Gilia, Geneva, Incos. Direct Balsi, Upper November 852 Vatir. And we have that. Direct Pivos Zulu 237 Sulit. So that's direct Pivos Zulu 237 Sulit, direct DMIP, and direct Poyenza. For the Poyenza for Victor arrival. Ground distance 915 versus, what do we have here? 913. 3.5 remaining versus 2.5 required. Okay, it's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 23 left. Instrument cross check, time UTC 0404, altimeter 1025, reading 120. And standby altimeter set, flight directors are on minus the master. Left seat takeoff 23 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2. And for the emergencies, we go straight ahead to 6 miles and then a right hand turn inbound to Lima NDB, climbing 3000. That's safe above the MSA, which should be 2400 over here. Alright, for emergencies, above 80 knots I will only reject for fire or fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind chill warning, aircraft unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I will simultaneously close the thrust levers, disengage the auto throttle, apply maximum manual braking and verify operation of the RTO auto brakes. Manually raise the speed brake lever, apply maximum reverse, and when the aircraft comes to stop, I will set the parking brake. Thank you. If you call stop, I note the brakes on speed, call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up, and thrust reverse normal up, normal indications. Call 100 knots, 8 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions, call any emissions, I call auto brake disarm, select flaps 40 when the brake has been set, and advise ATC of the reject. We then identify the failure and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate, read and do the evacuation checklist, time permitting, pull the CBRCB, you grab the lid, and then we get out. If the call before we want us to keep going, there will be no actions below 400 feet except to cancel any warnings and raise the landing over the positive rate. 400 feet from carry out the memory items, and I lost my text over here. Shouldn't have been working on the FOEFB there. It just looks nicer when you've got something displayed there. Okay, so let's do that again. 400 feet, verify heading select, carry out the memory items. At the MFRA, buck up, retract thrust and schedule, flat stop no light, select level change, max continuous thrust, non-normal checklist, normal checklist, PIOC, NITS, PA, and we come up with a plan. Okay, so for the taxi, it's going to be a pushback into, well, most likely just a standard pushback with a nose to the right, or maybe one into Tango, I believe it is. Yeah, Tango it is. Taxi then via Papa 3, Mike, and we go all the way to Lima 2, I would say. That's about 2,400 meters takeoff run. Well, we'll do the figures in a few moments anyway. So for our departure, we've got the Model 1 Tango departure. That is on a chart 10-3 Tango from the 21st of June 24. Transition altitude 5,000, and we have 5,001 in the FMC. So remain on tower until 2000, then contact long radar 121355. Speed max to 50 below 100, and that is, should be able to delete that. Well, okay, so speed 250 below 100. For the routing, straight at Delta Lima 243, maximum 210, right turn Uboro, left turn Natex 250. And we have all of that, and thereafter Modru above level 210. And that's it. Initial climb clearance, 5,000, I agree, and that's set. Alright, any questions? No questions. Briefing complete. Then let's go ahead and do our performance. So we've got a zero fuel weight, 60.8 versus planned 60.8, and that's 69.8 tons of gross weight. Okay, let's go ahead and do our performance then. So, Düsseldorf, runway 23 left, and that's definitely not 3,400 meters, that's more like 2,400 meters from the intersection. Okay, we can import the data. We are going to do a PAX on takeoff for sure, and import the weather as well. Alright, calculate. So, that's 26K, 46 degrees. So we have 26K with 46 degrees down here, 94.3, 94.2, close enough. Okay, flaps 5, CG 19.8, trim 6.7, 6.7, close enough. Takeoff speeds 143, 145, 150. We've got 43, 45, 50. Alright, here we go. Excellent. Then 6.7 units of trim. Let's go ahead and set that. And when that's done, we can do the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line, please. Here we go. Okay, so services and trucks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked. IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins, 1, 2, 3 removed, probe covers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed, lighters checked, oxygen checked, 100%. Yaw damper on, nav transfer and display switches, normal and auto, fuel. So that is 8,818 required, 9,000 on board, 6 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE galley power on, emergency exit lights armed, fasten belts on, window heat on, air condition and pressurization, PAX auto bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross check, auto brake, RTO, speed brake. Oh sorry, there's the hydraulics first. And those are checked. Okay, speed brake, down detent, parking brake, set, step from cutout switches, normal, wheel bar fire warning, checked, radius, radar and transponder, set and standby, radar and aileron trims, 3 and 0, takeoff briefing, discussed, PA, complete, FMC CDU. So, I know that GSX is gonna change this anyway, but nonetheless, for now, set. N1 and IS bugs. So we've got automatic, reduced 26k, speeds 143, 145, 150, set. Step trim 5.7, set. Performance, weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door, locked, doors, closed, passengers, seated, B4 star checklist, down to the line. Alright, let's go ahead and request IFR clearance and pushback. Düsseldorf delivery, good morning. Tweejet Nano Whiskey, information, Charlie request, startup. Tweejet 9 Whiskey, Düsseldorf delivery, guten Morgen. Clear to Ibiza via Modro 1 Tango departure, flight plan route, climb by ascent, altitude 5000, squawk 2107. Tweejet Nano Whiskey, cleared to Ibiza Modro 1 Tango departure, flight plan route, climb by ascent 5000, squawk 2107. Tweejet 9 Whiskey, read back correct, report ready. Tweejet 9 Whiskey, fully ready. Roger, connect ground 121.905, bye. 121.905, Tweejet 9 Whiskey, bye. Okay, so in regards to the clearance, we have 5000, Modru 1 Tango, squawk 2107. And that's all correct. Düsseldorf Ground, guten Morgen. Tweejet 9 Whiskey, request start and push, Bravo 3. Tweejet 9 Whiskey, guten Morgen. Push and start approved. Push start approved, Tweejet 9 Whiskey. Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning packs off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder alt off. Before start checklist complete. Ground cockpit, go ahead. Okay, ground from cockpit, go ahead. So, please confirm ground checks complete, doors hatches closed, ground curtain removed, and bypass pin is installed. That's all complete. Roger, you're clear to push, facing west, parking brake set. Release parking brake, please. Parking brake released, off block at 1-2. Roger, starting the push, stand by for engine start. Standing by. And yeah, they can definitely remove the trucks down there. So everything's clear on the left over there. I just love the light of the early morning hours. It just looks so gorgeous. In the real world, just like in Flight Simulator. You do have to get up really early for these kind of flights, like get up between 2 or 3 a.m. But every time you actually depart and once you're in the air, you see the sunrise, that really makes up for a lot. It really makes up for a lot. Okay, flight at ground, you're clear to start engines. Roger, starting in sequence 2 then 1 and starting engine 2. N2. Oil pressure. N1. Pushback complete, set park and brake. Park and brake set, we have a good start on 2, starting 1. Clear 1. Engine 1 start. N2. Oil pressure. N1. The start sequence is unfortunately slightly out of place here in the PMDG, and one should really only start to rotate much later. But I do believe that comes down to a simulator limitation, but nonetheless, I really do hope that they can improve that one day. Starter cutout, monitor 1. Okay, ground, we've got 2 good starts, you're clear to disconnect, show me the sign on the left side with a pin, have a wonderful day. Bye now. Number 1 stable. Okay, that's the clear sign received. Flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, ProArt on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PEX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve auto, flaps 5 required, 5 selected, green light, step trim 5.7 required set, start levers, idle detent, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. TUIJet Nano Whiskey request taxi. TUIJet Nano Whiskey taxi holding point runway 23 left via Papa 3 Mike Lima 2. Papa 3 Mike Lima 2, TUIJet Nano Whiskey. Okay, straight out, right turn. Brake is released, config. So, lots of Eurowings over here. But not for us, not today. Just look at that beautiful light on the MCP over here. I do really like what MSFS looks like. Graphics are wonderful. Okay, clear on the left. Clear on the right. So let's see where the Pegasus is gonna go. He's certainly not standing very well where he is right now. And as we're waiting for him, let's go ahead and pre-select the next frequency. 118.305, which is gonna be tower. I do suppose we are going to hold short of... Is that Tango over here? Or maybe the Condor is just first and that's why the Pegasus is waiting. Ah no, now he's moving. Okay. Then we'll be behind the Condor. Oh yeah, early morning rush hour. I do like it. A321, I like it even more. And Sunshade, I like it best. Okay. Before takeoff, checklist down to the line, please. Config, checked. Flaps, 5.5 green light. Step trim, 5.7 set. Takeoff briefing. It's gonna be a left seat takeoff. Runway 23 left. We have PAX auto, bleeds on, anti-ice off. Dry speeds 143, 145, 150, which is set. And the sit straight out, right hand turn, initial speed restriction 210 knots. We might have to leave the flaps out in position 1 there. Let's just check. 146 plus 80, I do believe. It's been a little while since I flew the 737. Okay, yeah, so we do have 216 as clean speed. Yeah, I tell you what, we are gonna fly 216 nonetheless. Those 6 knots don't really matter that much, do they? Okay, so we can retract the flaps straight away. Initial climb is an altitude 5000. Contact departure when passing 2000 on 1:1.355 without an automatic handover. Apart from that, I have nothing special. Engine outset, straight ahead 6 miles from Düsseldorf, right hand turn Lima NDB, that's selected on the raw data and over the fixed page as well. Okay, no threats. Initial climb is to an altitude, not to a flight level, so we gotta remain on local QNH. And I will probably do a little bit of hand flying until the aircraft is completely cleaned up. Any questions? No? Excellent. Cabin, secure, before takeoff checklist completed, down to the line. TUIJet Nano Whiskey, contact tower, 118.305, tschüss. 118.305, TUIJet Nano Whiskey, tschüss. Düsseldorf Tower, guten Morgen, TUIJet Nano Whiskey, ready for departure. TUIJet Nano Whiskey, guten Morgen. So Condor is before us, and then we'll have to check TCAS to see if there's anything on approach. I don't think the AI is smart enough to let the aircraft land on 23 right over here and let departures depart on 23 left, but we will see about that. In any case, let me just use our transponder for a second here to find out if there is any traffic on final. But it looks like there is not. Okay, excellent. TUIJet Nano Whiskey, behind the departing Condor A321, line up runway 23 left behind. TUIJet 9 Whiskey, behind the Condor, line up 23 left behind. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, holding at landing lights. Clear in the final. 1 Airbus departing, we are clear to line up behind. Okay, we can definitely go slow over here, don't need to rush this. What are they doing? That doesn't really look like they're taking off, does it? Okay, still clear. Oh, that looks interesting. Are they taxiing off the runway? Are they gonna depart 2-3 right? Okay, well that's definitely broken AI. Not supposed to do that. In any case, that means 2 eject nano whiskey, runway 23 left, the wind is calm, clear for takeoff. 23 left, clear takeoff, 2 eject nano whiskey. Okay, landing lights on before takeoff checklist complete. Timing. Set takeoff thrust. Checked. Gear up. LNAV. Checked. Buck up. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Langradar, guten Morgen. 2 jet 9 Whiskey. 2200, climbing 5000. 2 jet 9 Whiskey. Langradar, guten Morgen. Identified. Climb flight level 100. Climb flight level 100. 2 jet 9 Whiskey. Set. 100 checked. Flaps up, no lights. Set standard. Select VNAV. Standard cross-checked. Passing flight level 35 now. Alright, let's complete the turn and then we can do the after takeoff checklist. Command A, after takeoff checklist, air condition and pressurization, 2.7, climbing, set, altimeters, standard, passing flight level 59, now, checked, after takeoff checklist complete. Jet 9 Whiskey, climb flight level 210. Climbing flight level 210, Jet 9 Whiskey. Set, 210 checked. So now comes the large question. What altitude does it plan to have at Modru? 220. Looks just about good enough to me. So in other words, we can continue along the sit. I tell you what, let's take a little shortcut here. 2 jet 9 Whiskey, proceed direct Modru, cross Modru above 210. Back to Modru, 2 jet 9 Whiskey. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. So now it tells us unable next altitude. And we'll just accelerate passing 10,000 here, then we'll do the 10 checks, and then we'll have a look at a little problem-solving exercise here of what we can do when the airplane tells us that we're unable to cross the waypoint at the required flight level. But first of all, altimeters, passing 104, climbing 210, 10 checks. So the fuel is balanced, 6 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air condition and pressurization, 4.2, climbing set, fasten belts. I think we'll leave them on for now, at least until we are clear of... at least until we've completed our little exercise over here. Recall checked, 1 to 1.5. Monitoring, 10 checks complete. Okay, so let's do our little exercise. So, first things first, we want to find out where the airplane will actually be when we pass Modrul. It does tell us unable next altitude, but it does not tell us where it can be over there. So, let's hit delete over here, remove that, but don't execute. And now you can see it calculates level 196. So a few things for us to do. First things first, we can just go ahead and limit our climb speed slightly, and of course check that our engines are at full thrust. Now the engines are in full thrust already. You can see that over here we have climb and not climb 1 or climb 2. And down here you can see it as well, that it is actually on maximum already. So the next thing we can do is to just try and reduce our climb speed slightly. So for example, we could enter 280 knots. On the VNAV climb page over here, you do get your vertical error, so it does tell you that you'll be about 1,500 too low. So we just enter 280 knots in here. Hit execute. Now the airplane is gonna slow down. And now we'll be about 1,000 too low. So now we've got two options down here. And that's either climb at the maximum rate or climb at the maximum angle. Now, maximum rate gives us the greatest possible vertical speed, while maximum angle gives us the greatest angle over the ground. Now, obviously, the maximum angle is the more interesting thing for us here, so you can see 251 knots is the target speed. Let's go ahead and execute that, and now let's see which altitude we are going to make this time. So you can see we don't get an error anymore, so now we are able to cross Modrul at level. Can verify that down here if we just delete that restriction, and you can see now it calculates flight level 213 over at Modrul 214 now. So the airplane is now nicely capable of reaching that altitude in time. Erase that again so that our restriction comes back, and that's about it. That's how you can do a little altitude management exercise over here. Something that flying holiday flight you will probably have to do rather often, since aircraft tend to be rather heavy on those holiday flights. Tweejet Nano Whiskey, contact Amsterdam 124.35. Bye now. 10435, Tweejet Nano Whiskey, bye. Amsterdam, goedemorgen, Tweejet Nano Whiskey 1900, climbing, correction, flight level 191, climbing flight level 210 in Modrul. Tweejet Nano Whiskey, Amsterdam, good morning, identified, climb level 250. Climbing 250, Tweejet Nano Whiskey, set, 250 checked. Okay, master caution fuel, that's the center pump low pressure, and the center tank is empty, makes sense. Okay, so that's about as easy as it gets in regards to altitude management. Now all we are going to do is we will continue our climb until we have reached the flight level 210, and then we can go back to econ speed. Now, to make things a little bit more interesting, what ATC is often going to do is they might just about give you a rate of climb. So, for example, if we just go back to econ, like we normally would in this situation, the aircraft pitches down and the vertical speed reduces. ATC sees that your vertical speed reduces, but let's say they need us to reach 250 at Navak, for example. Then they might just about give us a rate of climb restriction here, like maintain at least 1,000 feet a minute. In that case, things are getting a little bit interesting. So now you've got to go vertical speed 1,000, because that's the minimum we have to maintain. But now we are in MCP speed mode for our aircraft to climb. And what this is going to cause is basically once it gets close to the target airspeed, it will pull your thrust off. Now, what I tend to do in the 737, and likewise in the 777 as well, by the way, in such a situation, is I'm just going to go ahead and increase the MCP speed. By the way, in a line check you will probably get yelled at for doing that, but I think it is the easiest solution there. Just increase your MCP speed so that the aircraft does not pull any thrust off. Maintain your vertical speed using VS mode, and now you just got to be careful there that the aircraft actually still accelerates. If you start to lose airspeed now, then, well, then you got to do something. Then you're probably not able to maintain the rate of climb anymore. That could very well happen, for example, when you are flying through changing winds. Well, and now I just let the airplane accelerate until I've reached my target speed. So 295 knots is our target. So I let it accelerate until it is above 295, then go back to VNAV, and that way it's just going to maintain the full thrust. Makes our life about as easy as it gets. So here we go, 295, VNAV, and that way it basically maintained full thrust the entire way. Jet 9 Whiskey, Contact Maastricht, 132855, bye. 32855, Jet 9 Whiskey, bye. Maastricht, Goedemorgen, Jet 9 Whiskey, level 237, climbing 250, inbound, Pinos. Jet 9 Whiskey, Maastricht, Goedemorgen, identified, proceed direct, Grotancon, climb flight level 310 and confirm requested level. Jet 9 Whiskey, climb level 310, direct Grotancon, standby. Set, 310 checked. Execute. LNAV available, LNAV. So I spent quite a bit of time to explain to you that little altitude management exercise. We didn't really look at our requested level yet, but at least the requested level is pretty simple today, because we only have that one option. Now, looking at the cruise page, the airplane tells us optimum 371, but this is just the aerodynamic optimum. This does not take into account your external conditions, basically the winds. For that reason, if we just go ahead and have a look at our flight plan, they say planned optimum level 330. If we do make it a bit of an exercise, then we do have a wind data block somewhere down here. Here we go. So, for example, we can see that at Grotancon we expect the wind to actually increase slightly as we go up to higher altitude. But later on then, you can see over Geneva, for example, it stays constant. And over here, close to Vatir, that's where you've got wind 052 at 17 forecast. So 052 is from somewhere over here, 17, so I'll tell you what, looking at this, it actually looks like level 370 is the best level for the first part of the flight, and then for the latter part of the flight we got the stronger tailwind at the lower altitudes. So, in order not to overcomplicate things, and because air traffic control often wants you to simply adhere to your flight plan, we are simply going to request flight level 330. Jet 9 Whiskey requested flight level 330. Jet 9 Whiskey, roger, climb flight level 330. Climbing 330, Jet 9 Whiskey. Set, 330 checked. Set once, twice, and 3 times, monitoring 1 to 1.5. And I'd say we can release our passengers as well now. Here we go, and well, that's pretty much everything we can do already done. Let's reselect the VORs over here. We'll just do the fuel check at the top of climb. And with that, we are basically done with everything we could do over here. Now, looking at flight radar and looking at the typical routes that those flights take, I do expect to direct somewhere over here, Giulia maybe, in a couple moments. So, I tell you what, we are just gonna fly direct to Giulia now already. So, Giulia, I will use the beam points over here, execute, LNAV available, LNAV. And I just want the beam from Grotancan so that we can do a fuel check, so we'll just keep that one. And that's it. Okay, excellent. So that is pretty much everything done that we could do at this point. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight, and I'll get back to you as we are closing in on our destination airport. The top of descent is coming into sight already, and we can start our arrival preparations for our approach into Ibiza. Now, initially we're going to overfly Mallorca, and that's where we're headed right now. Pollença VOR, thereafter Mallorca VOR, and from there we'll fly over to Ibiza. Now, our arrival, Pollença for Victor, is basically leading us directly into downwind, and from there on we are then going to probably make a rather early turn into the final. Let's go ahead and have a look at that over here. So you can see we're coming in from Pollença VOR down to Mallorca, and then via a couple of waypoints into the downwind here. If we take that Cox's restriction up here, max 220 above 4000, turn that into exactly 4000, then we should more or less gain a good profile already. So if we just make that 4000 over here hard, let's see what happens to our top of descent. It's definitely going to jump forward a little bit. Here we go. But that's basically all expected. So rather slow descent over here. Let's go ahead and increase that just a tiny bit. So we'll take 753 as it is, but we'll convert them to 280 knots. Let's not make it... What did I do wrong? Yeah, that's better. Slash 280, we'll also take 250 below level 100. Then let's go on to the forecast. I want the winds from 310, 200 and 100, please. Execute. Well, here, execute and request. In the meantime, let's go ahead and have a look at our arrival weather. So, Ibiza 06087, Cabo K 271015. Here we go. So, wind forecast uplink available. Load that up, please. And execute. Okay. So, 3.2, that means we're gonna burn 1,000 kilos from here on. Probably a little bit less, I suggest. But that is looking good overall. Okay then, so landing runway is gonna be 06, and we need a 99-mile ring for 3 times the cruise altitude, then a 10-mile ring, and since it's Cabo K, we can certainly go with a 4-mile ring. That is looking good down here. Okay, course is 061. Here we go, frequencies 111.1. And we can shoot them active straight away. And then for the missed approach we probably need some VOR frequency as well, knowing the area. Wireless Zulu 06. Oh, you bet we need some VOR. So Ibiza 17.8. And we can basically fly the entire missed approach based off that. So 11780 and 11780. Here we go. So, I do believe the two E737s are registered as Cat Delta aircraft, so we'll take the Delta minimum here, 270. Like so. Okay, let's do a little bit of mathematics over here now. So, as for the airport itself, where is it? Here we go, parking stands and airport chart. So that's 2,799 meters. Let's go ahead, landing en route, Ibiza 06, 2799 is correct. Import, import. And we'll plan auto brake 3 initially, no reverse credit. VREF edition 5. Landing flaps, no. That's better. Okay, so 1,828. How does that look? That looks like Echo 4. Okay. Alright. Are you ready for the briefing? So, threats for the arrival, I don't really see any over there. Happy with it as it is. Yep. Okay, so we got 250 below flight level 100. The forecast page is in QNH 1015. We can enter that one as well. So, fixed rings around runway 06, 10 miles and 4 miles. As for the arrival, we've got the Poyenza for Victor arrival, which we have on a chart up here. And that is from Poyenza above flight level 100 to Mallorca above 4,500. Then on towards Nelux above 4,500. India Bravo 720, India Bravo 800. And those are both above 4,000 feet. And we have those. Going on towards Cox's, max 220 above 4,000, and then we've got a couple more waypoints over here with a couple of restrictions. And if we just have a look at the plan page, this basically looks exactly like the chart. Okay, so we are going to join the final then for an ILS approach onto runway 06, ILS Zulu. 111.1, and we have that final approach course 061 set twice as well. Minimums 270 is set as well. Okay, so approach starts in 60 me. Fox 06, 2000 feet. And that's what we have. It is going to be a 3-degree glide path down to the minimum in case of go around. Straight at 2D me, India Bravo Alpha right at turn 172, intercept radial 121 outbound. So we've got 2D me, 172, 121 outbound. And that's until 70 me, which is the Gulf point. Then join the 90 me arc. So from the Gulf, we basically, yeah, that looks about like an arc, doesn't it? Happy with that. We continue to radial 150 and then join the 163 outbound, climbing 3000, but initially 2500 or below, later on 3000. And that's exactly what we have. Okay, good enough, happy with that. Landing 3.2, we require 2.5 for a diversion to Palma de Mallorca. So that's about 15 minutes of extra fuel, burning 800, checked, which is 64 tons landing weight. And that gives me a flaps 30, 147. We did that mathematics here, 1,850 meters down to the second high-speed exit. Okay, and after that we basically end off somewhere on the apron. I have actually not checked yet where we are going to park. We'll definitely find that out, but I do believe it is going to be somewhere over here around the terminal. Okay, any questions? No? Awesome. In that case, let me do the PA, you have control, and your radios. And I will say goodbye to our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent towards Ibiza in the next 5 minutes. The weather over there currently clear skies, temperatures of 27 degrees. We would like to thank you very much for choosing TUI for today's flight. Hope that you have enjoyed it as much as we did. And we look forward to welcome you again on board of a future scheduled service. In the meantime, we do wish you lovely holidays to remember, and we hope to see you all again soon. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren aus dem Cockpit, hier Kapitän. Wir werden in Kürze unseren Sinkflug nach Ibiza starten. Flugzeit jetzt noch etwa eine halbe Stunde. Das Wetter in Ibiza derzeit schön. Klarer Himmel, 27 Grad. Wir wünschen Ihnen einen schönen und unvergesslichen Urlaub und hoffen Sie dann auch bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge willkommen zu heißen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und wir wünschen Ihnen eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Okay, that's our passengers dealt with. Then let's go ahead with the descent checklist, please. Pressurization. Land alt 0. Anti-ice. Off. Approach briefing fuel discussed. ISM outbox. Checked and set. Descent checklist complete. So that's Mallorca coming into view down here. The Bay of Alcudia down here. Beautiful area. Can very much recommend it for holidays. Like the entire island, basically. Well, and from here on, I'd say we accelerate this a little bit once again, and then I see you as we are getting closer to our destination airport. Getting closer. We've started our deceleration down towards 250 knots, and then we can go ahead and continue our descent. So this would probably roughly be the moment where we'd get our hand over to approach control as well. So let's go ahead and find their frequency. Normally that is going to be on the approach chart. Here we go. 2 Jet Nano Whiskey, Conde Palma control 134.825. 134.825. 2 Jet Nano Whiskey, bye. Palma Control, Buenos Dias, 2 Jet Nano Whiskey, flight level 100, inbound India Bravo 920. 2 Jet Nano Whiskey, Palma Control, Buenos Tardes, expect ILS Zulu 06, descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1015. Pilot Zulu 06, descent 4000, QNH 1015, tweejet 9 whiskey. Set, 4000 checked. Altimeters, passing 10,000, descending 4,000, 10 checks. So, fuel, balanced, 4 pumps on, lights, on, angle of bank 25, air conditioner pressurization 3.6, descending, set, fasten belts on, recall. Checked, 1 to 1.5. Deselected, and that's the 10 checks complete. Alright, let's go ahead and do the frisk as well, please. So, frequencies, 111.1. Confirm 3 times, fix rings, runway 06, 10 miles, 4 miles, dense, India, Bravo, India, India, Bravo, India, and India, Bravo, India. Standby instruments, set, courses 061, approach checklist, please. Altimeters and instruments, set and cross-checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. And before we forget it, cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. Okay, and that's pretty much everyone dealt with now. So, beautiful look outside. Ibiza over here, Formentera over here, I believe, if I'm not completely mistaken. I might be. Been a little while since I've been here. The approach to runway 24 along the shoreline over here is quite beautiful as well. 06 on the other hand side, you've got that little bay that you're flying into on the final. That's also quite beautiful. Both runways really are. Or rather, both sides to the same runway. I know that YouTube is picky. Someone of you is probably going to point that one out. So you might be wondering at the moment, I'm basically flying it down in level change over here and ignoring the VNAV path. But remember that we've set ourselves a VNAV path over here at 4,000 feet fixed, so the path is basically an artificial one that we've constructed. What I can tell you is that we're going to be beam the field in roughly 5,000. That's pretty much where you need to be. For a 10-mile final, you've got to be somewhere in 7,000 above the ground. For Spain, you know, they might just take you into 6 or 7 miles final to an airport like this, so I think the altitude we have at the moment is quite good. Set QNH. QNH 1015 cross-check, passing 5,900. Now. Checked. Tweejet 9 whiskey, reduce speed 220 knots. Speed 220, Tweejet 9 whiskey. Okay, reducing 220. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and do that manually. Gotta use our chance to fly as long as we have it, huh? Before we're going back to those full fly-by-wire driven aircraft that we surely are going to revisit. Good old 737 trim wheel. I kinda missed it when we did all those 777 flights. But here we go. That is looking pretty good, isn't it? So 220 knots. We are abeam the field. Completed all those checks. By now the cabin should be secure as well. Tweejet 9 whiskey, turn right, heading 270. Heading 270, Tweejet 9 whiskey. And 9 whiskey, descent 2000. Landing 2000 to eject 9 whiskey. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Extend the center line. Let's just quickly fly the airplane first. So, Fox 061 looking good, execute. To eject the 9 is to reduce the speed to 180 knots. Flaps 5, speed checked. To eject 9 whiskey, turn right, heading 040, correction 030, clear ILS 06. Right 040, clear ILS 06 to eject 9 whiskey. Okay, flaps 10, speed checked. And I think altitude-wise we should be pretty good. Don't need the speed brake over here. Okay, we have good indications. Pro-charmed. And that looks like we are indeed going to reach 2000 just prior to the final approach fix. Which is perfect. Wind coming slightly from the right, but at least it is a headwind, not a tailwind. Waller captured. Glide slope captured. 2,500 feet set. Terrain noted. Warlock captured. Runway heading 061. And here's the sunshade. Okay, looking good. To eject the Nano Whiskey, contact tower, frequency 118505. 118505 to eject Nano Whiskey. Ibiza tower to eject Nano Whiskey, ILS 06. To eject 9 Whiskey, Ibiza tower, wind 060 at 7, runway 06, clear to land. 06 clear to land, to eject 9 Whiskey. Okay, gear down, flaps 15. Okay, auto throttle off. Flaps 30. Oh, that was a bit quick. Here we go. Checked. Landing checklist. Start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, armed green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, flaps 30, 30 green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete. Alright, gotta remove that sunshade here. Boeing doesn't like it in the window for your landings. So, it's been a little while since we've landed that 737. Let's see how that is gonna go.
Approaching minimums.
Checked.
300. Minimums.
Continue. Alright, we'll fly down on the puppy now.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brake up, thruster is normal. %, 100 knots. 80 knots, manual brakes. $60 knots, runway vacated. Jet 9 whiskey, turn left on Tango, contact ground 121.903. Bye. Left Tango 121.903, Jet 9 whiskey. Bye. Ground Buenos Dias, Jet 9 whiskey, vacating onto Tango. Jet 9 whiskey, welcome to Ibiza. Taxi stand 27, but continue on Tango and hold short of the apron. Continue Tango, hold short apron, Jet 9 whiskey. And 9 whiskey, hold short gate 1. Gate 1. Hold short gate 1, Jet 9 whiskey. So gate 1 is basically we continue straight out onto Tango and hold short over here. Okay. So, welcome to Ibiza. And here we go, that's the after landings completed. Jet 9 whiskey, taxi stand at 24 via gate 1. Stand 24, gate 1, Jet 9 whiskey. So, gate 24, here we go. No follow me needed, gate 1 to the right. Start APU. Might have been a little bit early, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, recall is checked. So, off to the right. We are heavier than 63 tons, so we're not going to do single engine taxi. And stand 24 should be straight ahead. No jetway over there, so it is going to be standard deboarding using stairs. Okay, 2-4, here it is, lights off. Okay, shutdown 2. I know I said no single engine taxi, but this is pretty much safe now. Provided that the marshaller would work. Oh, come on. That's bullshit. Okay, 2 blue, 1 red, engines dead. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ibiza. Okay, shutdown checklist please. And we can do the transit version. Electrical, on APU, and talking about the APU, let me turn the bleed on. So, electrical, on APU, FAT melts, off. ProArt, auto, anti-ice, off, air conditioning. Packs, auto, engine bleeds, on, APU bleed, on, exterior lights. So let's see, we've got both engines below 20. Here we go. And GSX, you may start the deboarding, please. Okay, exterior lights set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down intent, flaps up no light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB in, cockpit door unlocked, shutdown checklist complete. Right guys, welcome to Ibiza. I sure hope that you have enjoyed this one. Do let me know your feedback in the comments below, and let me know your feedback about that GSX marshalling. As you can see, that would have been one of those stands where it would really have been handy, but as you can see, we are, you know, almost exactly on the line, and they didn't give us any proper guidance there. But okay, so be it. Nonetheless, I do hope that you've enjoyed the flight. Welcome to holidays. Let me know your feedback in the comments below, and with that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing over here, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.